This is shaping up to be the ultimate Japanese boxing showdown, and whatever the outcome, it's going to reverberate throughout the entire world of boxing. So, can Junto Nakatani pull off the upset of the decade? Or will it be Naoya Inoue's capstone achievement to seal a legendary career and cement his name among the all-time greats? We're building toward what could be the most significant fight in Japanese boxing history, when these two undefeated champions will clash for the undisputed Super Bantamweight championship in what promises to be an epic battle between Japan's finest. The circumstances pointing to this monumental bout have been building throughout 2025. Nakatani has officially vacated his WBC and IBF Bantamweight titles to move up to Super Bantamweight, clearing the path for his date with Destiny. Both fighters will appear on the same card in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, on December 27, 2025, serving as a preview to their epic encounter. Inoue remains the undisputed Super Bantamweight champion after his impressive unanimous decision victory over Murodjon Akhmadaliev in September 2025, extending his record to 31-0 with 27 knockouts. The verbal agreement between both camps is in place, with Inoue specifically targeting May 2026 for their showdown at the Tokyo Dome. The timing couldn't be more perfect. Nakatani, at 27 years old, is entering his prime while moving up from bantamweight, where he dominated with 5 consecutive knockouts. Inoue, at 32, is still at the peak of his powers, but has indicated he plans to retire around 2027, making this potentially one of his final super fights. Nakatani holds physical advantages that could prove decisive. At 5 feet and 7 inches tall with a 68.5-inch reach, and considering he'll be adding more bulk at Super Bantamweight, he'll be notably bigger than Inoue, who is 5 feet 5 inches tall with a 67.5-inch reach. This height and reach advantage gives Nakatani some leverage in controlling distance. Nakatani's southpaw stance creates an immediate tactical challenge for the orthodox Inoue. Although honestly, having seen Inoue completely dominate the southpaw MJ Akhmadaliev, it doesn't look like this is the kind of challenge he can't overcome against a top opponent. Nonetheless, Nakatani is a southpaw with a different style from MJ. He excels at long-range boxing, using a devastating jab and exceptional lead hand control to dictate pace and distance. His technical approach focuses on active lead hand tactics, using flicker jabs, vertical punches, and lead hand traps to set up his powerful left cross. In contrast, Inoue's technical mastery lies in his complete offensive arsenal. In addition, we saw in the Akhmadaliev fight that he has also sharpened his defense impressively. But going back to his offense, he is known for his crushing punching power from either hand. He generates knockout force through perfect technique rather than raw strength. His signature weapons include a devastating left hook, explosive uppercuts, and perhaps most importantly, his surgical body punching ability that breaks down opponents systematically. So, the deciding factor in terms of style in this matchup comes down to distance management. Whoever establishes control over distance more consistently will have more chances to successfully execute their strategic attacks that they've been practicing for months in the gym leading to the fight. Nakatani thrives whenever he keeps opponents at long range, using his height and southpaw jab to control distance, keeping them stuck where he wants them, before unleashing his powerful crosses and straights. Conversely, Inoue's aggressive forward pressure and ability to close distance very quickly before launching explosive attacks has overwhelmed every opponent he's faced, regardless of their reach advantage or their efforts at keeping a safe distance from his ruthless combinations. This is the most likely scenario that will unfold for all the boxing world to witness. The opening rounds would likely see both fighters attempting to establish their respective games. Nakatani would circle the ring, pumping his jab and looking to establish distance control. Inoue would probe with his own jab while looking for openings to close the gap. Expect cautious feeling out with Nakatani winning these rounds on activity and ring generalship. As the fight progresses, Inoue's superior ring IQ and adaptability would begin showing. He would start timing Nakatani's jab and using subtle head movement to slip inside. Body shots would become increasingly prominent as Inoue begins targeting Nakatani's midsection to slow his movement. These will be the decisive rounds for Inoue. His relentless body attack would begin taking its toll on Nakatani's legs and output. The younger fighter's punch volume would decrease as fatigue sets in, allowing Inoue to close distance more effectively. With Nakatani's movement compromised, Inoue would smell blood in the water. His finishing instinct and power would likely produce a dramatic ending, possibly via his signature left hook to the body, or a devastating right cross. But that's not the only possible outcome. So here's the second possible scenario. If Nakatani can consistently land his counter left hand and keep Inoue at bay with superior footwork, he could build an early lead. His height and reach advantages would be maximized, frustrating Inoue's usual pressure tactics. Nakatani himself has stated he believes he needs to knock out Inoue to win, recognizing that leaving it to the judges might favor the established champion. His best path to victory involves landing a clean counter left hook, the same punch that has troubled Inoue in fights against Luis Neri and Ramon Cardenas. And then, there's this scenario. Should both fighters neutralize each other's strengths, we could witness a tactical masterpiece going the full 12 rounds. This is where an intangible or overlooked aspect might suddenly become the deciding factor. It could be Nakatani's youth carrying him through the brutal late rounds, or it could be Inoue's extensive experience in championship fights, leading him to be calm, patient, and locked down on the goal at hand, whereas Nakatani would probably be too eager or desperate to score a knockout that he inadvertently provides the opening Inoue needs to be the one to score a KO, or at least break away in the scorecards. But the most likely outcome, though, is Inoue winning by late TKO. I'm thinking rounds 9 to 11. The experience gap and weight class familiarity would prove decisive, but only after Nakatani gives Inoue his toughest test since the first Donaire fight. If Inoue wins, it would guarantee his legacy as an all-time great, potentially moving him to number 1 on pound-for-pound lists. Several paths would open to him. 1. A victory over Nakatani might give Inoue confidence to pursue titles at 126 pounds against champions like Rafael Espinoza or Nick Ball. 2. At 33, Inoue might view beating Nakatani as the perfect victory to wrap up a spectacular career. He could retire as undisputed champion, having defeated his most credible threat. And 3. Alternatively, Inoue could remain at 122 pounds and choose opponents wisely in defending his titles while building toward a grand retirement fight. Against who? Your guess is as good as mine. What about if Nakatani wins? An upset victory would transform Nakatani into a global superstar overnight. His career trajectory would skyrocket. First, Nakatani would inherit Inoue's mantle as Japan's boxing king and likely jump to number 1 or number 2 pound-for-pound rankings. Next, victory over Inoue would open doors to massive fights at 126 pounds, with his team already expressing interest in facing Rafael Espinoza for the WBO featherweight title. A victory would also position Nakatani for lucrative international fights and potential rematches with Inoue. Naoya Inoue versus Junto Nakatani represents everything great about boxing. Two undefeated champions in their primes, contrasting styles, national pride, and genuine uncertainty about the outcome. Win or lose, both fighters will have given everything in what could be remembered as one of the greatest fights of the decade. The May 2026 showdown between Inoue and Nakatani promises to be a defining moment for Japanese boxing. And if you're a true boxing fan, no matter where you are in the world, this is a fight you wouldn't want to miss. Because at this point in boxing history, when many so-called super fights turn out to be huge disappointments, this matchup between Inoue and Nakatani has all the ingredients to exceed even the highest expectations.